Good night, everybody, and welcome once again to another LimeVibe Live podcast. I'm your host, Yari Yarman Kemp, the host with the most, along with our beautiful co-host, Miss Kimberly Ramcallo. How you doing tonight, Kim?
I'm doing as best as I can.
Good. That's good. So please like, share, and subscribe to our video on Facebook and YouTube, LimeVibe77. That's LimeVibe77 on Facebook and YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share. It helps us to share our message. And please, I want to ask for your forgiveness, ladies and gentlemen, for not being here on Wednesday night. We had some technical difficulties. Kim was not feeling too well, and I had some technical difficulties on this side, so we didn't have the show on Wednesday night. So you weren't missing anything. You weren't wrong, but we just were off air on Wednesday. So we're back again tonight. So I thank you guys for joining us again tonight for another LimeVibe Live podcast. So Kim, how's things going on your end?
Well, apologies also on my behalf on Wednesday because I was not well. I could not make it at all. I just sat down. I was hoping I would have seen Yori on live by himself at least, but I couldn't even do that.
Yes.
And well, here we've been having lots of rain because it's officially the start of the rainy season and hurricane season. June 1st marks the start of hurricane season in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes.
As well as the Pacific. And I think we're already seeing a storm being monitored just off the coast of Texas and the Gulf, tropical storm Arlene, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. It's swirling around inside the Gulf right now as we speak. And it's not expected to make landfall, but it's just brewing over there in the Gulf of the western coast of Florida, the Panhandle, right there in the Gulf. It's not expected to hit the Caribbean, but it's just brewing, and people are just watching as the first storm for the Atlantic hurricane season. So yeah, they expect this to be a very busy hurricane season too, though.
I'm guessing. I mean, we have climate change already happening. I mean, those are the effects of climate change. The one thing I noticed on the news tonight that it was saying that even though it was forming that way, there was a possibility that it could even head south toward Hispaniola.
Yes. Actually, it is trending southward, south to the South Atlantic. Yeah, that's what they said. So yeah, it could reach all the way to Hispaniola, but let's hope it weakens on the way there, though.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, it's too early in the season for something like this, even though we ought to be prepared by the 6th month of the year for hurricanes and have your gear. They always talk about being hurricane prepared, being ready, boarded up, having your safety supplies and your needs and your documents in order just in the event of a storm and hurricane.
Yes. Be ready, be prepared. And God knows we don't want another hurricane like Irma or Dorian to hit another Caribbean country the way it did for Antigua and Barbuda and the Bahamas, respectively. So let's just be on guard and be cautious. And the hurricane season is going to last until November 30th, isn't it, right, Kim? June 1st to November 30th. Yeah. So we got, several months hurricanes. So Arlene is just the first one. And so we just got to be careful. We just be vigilant. We're going to have a few more storms and hopefully none makes landfall. Let's pray to go.
I mean, there's always a bit of hesitancy here in Trinidad and Tobago, despite being
Almighty. So otherwise than that,
just on the south of the hurricane, where's that, the belt of it.
Yes.
We still usually, get up to prepare.
Yes.
So a bit of caution to all of our Caribbean islands and neighbors.
Yeah, hurricanes really don't hit Trinidad, don't they?
No, and thankfully that is so. We've had a few brushes with tropical storms in the 70s and 60s. We had a few hurricanes, but mostly we have a lot of heavy rainfall. So usually before it heads up the island chain, you will experience a good bit of heavy rains when it's at the tropical depression and tropical wave form. And then when it decides to move up, then it usually takes the form of a tropical storm and hurricane, sadly. Okay. But we usually get torrential downpours, and that causes widespread flooding and catastrophes that are associated with flooding, landslides, and things like that.
Okay, fair enough. So let's just be careful and be vigilant, man. Let's be careful and let's be vigilant. On to other news though in the Caribbean. You heard that world boss, aka Vibes Cartel, he's on death's door. Apparently, his lawyer wants to get him freed early from prison. He's serving a life sentence, of course, in Jamaica for the killing of Clive Lizard Williams, and he has Graves' disease. It's kind of a heart disease, like a condition that's fatal. And so apparently he needs to have surgery immediately. And so his lawyers are trying to get him, out of jail right now so he could have this treatment. So what do you feel about Vibes Cartel, man? I mean, if you do the crime, you gotta do the time, man.
Yeah, is Graves' disease something that is terminal? I mean, I
Yes.
know heart issues, and it's they said it's triggered by your thyroid and things like that. I
Yes,
guess
yes.
if it doesn't pump enough blood, you can lead to heart failure.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, if he needs urgent surgery, why not? I mean, he is serving a death sentence, is it?
Yes, that sounds right. That sounds right. So
Right.
it's like, yeah, life in prison because the Privy Council would not approve for a capital punishment, so he's in jail for life.
Wow. Well, I mean, I know we were talking a good bit about him some time ago, and we were mentioning Jamaican artists and the
Yes.
culture of their lyrics associated with their songs and performances.
Mhm. And he was the chief demon, wasn't he?
So he has been branded,
Yeah. I just don't know how he was making music behind bars, and that shows you how slack the system can be sometimes. How the hell could a man who's serving a life sentence for murder be making records behind bars? I know Jockyer did it, but Jockyer was expected to be released, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But not Vibes Cartel. It's still making the same violent music, man. I mean, come on, man. That's a breakdown of society.
Breakdown in society. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, he has his family to support, so he's got to earn a living, right? So,
Yeah. I guess so.
it's got to perpetuate it some way,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess so, but something has to be said about that. I mean, that's not a good look for Jamaica. I mean, I know artists in the United States. Apparently, R. Kelly, R. Kelly has big turnouts to his concerts in jail. But it's behind the yeah, R. Kelly. Yeah, apparently he's been making a lot of waves inside jail, man. He gets like he every time he performs, he has like huge crowds coming to see him. Prisoners, of course, right? They're no outsiders, but still, though, he's still practicing his craft. I guess once an entertainer, always an entertainer.
Yeah. But I mean, Vibes Cartel has had, been known with having such obscene lyrics and stuff, and I believe he was banned in Ghana at one point in time, not so?
Yeah,
And
Barbados too. He was supposed to go to Barbados.
and they
He was supposed to
didn't.
go to Barbados, and the David Thompson at the time said he could not perform. He was supposed to go to Barbados, and he said no.
Oh, yeah, they stopped it, right?
Yeah,
So I'm sorry to hear illness. Illness is not something I wish on anyone, no matter who they are, because it's a bit of suffering. But I, we'll see what happens with his lawyers and his attorneys and trying to get this bargain and work in his favor. Guy's got to live somehow, right?
Yeah, I guess so, man. I guess you can't really hurt him as much, right? But still, though, it's still, yeah, it's perfect. It's still, you got to be careful of it though, because you don't want that the wrong message. Because all these other guys, Skillabang and who else? The other guys that are there, man, they're watching all of this, man. And they're seeing the slackness in the Jamaican judicial system.
Very true, very true. You lead, you give example by one, and then you open a door for the rest of them.
Yes, 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 indeed. And all the devil needs is one, all the devil needs is one mistake. That's all he needs. Then, you compromise for the rest of your life. So, yeah. So other than that, man, I mean, God be with the Jamaicans judicial system, man. I hope he gets treatment that he needs, though, because we wouldn't want him to die miserably. We don't wish that on anybody, but still, though, he's in jail. He's in jail for murder. He was convicted of murder.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be all this, these record making, this music making, man. He's in jail for murder.
Yep.
So otherwise, not speaking of one bad person. I mean, he's not a bad person, but let's speaking of one guy's in jail. Let's talk about this Dennis Francis's name, right? He's the new president of the United Nations, right? General Assembly. He's a Trinidadian, Kim. He's a son of the soil, like of yours, man. How do you feel about that, man?
Well, I know it came after much lobbying. It was a post that was being touted by the opposition since 2013. They were trying to get Trinidad into the ballot listing since then. And the last 2 years, I believe the PNM government, well, the government of Trinidad and Tobago was successful in getting this lobby spearheaded forward and trying to get some recognition in the sense that, hey, we have someone here that can serve as the 78th president of the United Nations General Assembly. As to what that post entails, all eyes are on Trinidad and Tobago, especially when it comes to the General Assembly that's usually held in New York in September, and perhaps getting some kind of recognition to the impact climate change is having on small island developing states like ours. So it's probably one good thing to have a small island state represented at this level, you know, when it's held in September this year.
Yes.
Much of the campaign was, you know, pushed forward by our United Nations representatives and how would you call it? It's our diplomatic center in Washington and in New York. So it came after a good bit of, I know that our Foreign Affairs Minister, Dr. Amy Brown, had spoken quite a good length about it as to pushing Trinidadian culture and why it's needed, why a Trinidadian, you know, will be, you know, helpful to building consensus on global issues, and, you know, raising issues of, you know, what concerns us at a multilateral stage.
Yes.
So we'll look forward to see how he's going to represent it. I think he will be there until next year. There's the Small Island Developing State conference in Antigua and Barbuda. So we'll be able to facilitate that as well, coming from this part of the world.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's excellent, man. Because this is the first time a non-European, non-American person is actually serving in the post, right?
Yeah, yes, it is. I believe so, and I think it's really good. I am proud that we have someone at that level. He has been one to have a distinguished career when it comes to foreign affairs and diplomacy, I believe. And he is one that was touted as one of the best there is, you know, when it comes to taking these matters at that front.
Okay, that's good. Trinidadian of the soil, son of the soil, man. That's good. He's our brother and sister as well. He's our brother. So yeah, we welcome Mr. Dennis Francis as the president of the United Nations General Assembly. Very good, very good. I wish I could. I'm going to read up some more about him to see exactly what his exploits are and exactly how far he's come from where he's been. But he sounds like I've listened to his speech. He sounds like a very humble man.
I believe so. I mean, to represent at that level, it takes some kind of distinguished career and being able to speak on global issues, and, you know, being able to be at the forefront of so many countries that need to hear our plight and our concerns at such a level. And I really am all for him, because we really do need a strong voice representing countries like ours. When it comes to, you know, policy making and things that will help us when it comes to funding and global financing to help all concerns, all issues.
It's the season now, Kim. We are in the season. We are in the Caribbean season. All eyes are on us, Kim. We are at the forefront of this climate fight and global diplomacy. We are at the forefront. This is our season now. All the stars have lined up perfectly for us to really make a dent in this world right now. Kamala Harris is the Vice President of the United States. You know, we have Dennis Francis as the United Nations General Assembly President. You know, things are lining up, man. Everything's lining up. All eyes are on us.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to things like this, it's about time that we lead the way in that sense.
Yes.
Because we have a lot that is at stake right now, I would say, right?
Yes. Our way of life, our countries, our lives are at stake.
Our economies, our business, the way that we function and live, our land space, or everything that is, you know, important to us is at stake, and we need someone to really help us champion getting that, you know, balancing the scales in a sort of sense when it comes to the global financial systems that affect us. You know, everything has always been touted to the developed countries. It's always been in their favor. This time it's about time. And I believe this is something that United Nations President Secretary General, sorry, Antonio Guterres has been pro for,
Mhm.
even though it has been one that has come from a developed country. I believe he's from Portugal, if I'm not mistaken. He's from one
Yes.
of the countries. And he has been, since coming into office, he has taken heart when it comes to the plight of small island developing states like ours.
Mhm.
Him being present at CARICOM last year was significant of that, was testament of that. Him being present when it comes to a lot of the conferences with the IDB and how it's working out,
Mhm.
it shows that, hey, we need to really work a little harder
Mhm.
in protecting our islands and protecting this part of the world. It's not always about the grand states abroad. Because, if we were to erode, if we were to be sunken,
Mhm.
what would, they can't have that on their hands, right?
No. It can't have us eroded on that hand. So absolutely not. It'd be a catastrophe, It'd be a catastrophe, man. And we've already allowed, Haiti to sink to where it is. I mean, Haiti might as well be sunken right now. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But speaking of sunken treasure. Well, not sunken. Well, speaking of sunken, let's talk about sunken treasure. Apparently, this group in the Bahamas, this island exploration, they have created a master map around the entire Bahamian archipelago, and where all of sunken ships may be around the archipelago of the Bahamas. Of course, island exploration is the treasure hunters, for lack of a better term, searching for the Nuestra Sonora Maravilla off the coast of Grand Bahama. And they found a significant amount of treasure they've been sharing with the Bahamian government that they have on display as well in a museum in Grand Bahama of all the gold and the silver they found off of the coast of Grand Bahama from the Nuestra Sonora Maravilla. And it's a well-known treasure ship that's been sunk from 1656. And so they found the ship, they found some of the debris, and they've been, salvaging some of the wreckage. And we now have a 50-50 split with the government. So beforehand, I think before last month, it was a 70-30 split their way. And now it's a 50-50 split now, for the government and island exploration to find all of this sunken treasure. So that's good. So if they could create this master map, Kim, and they could probably go out throughout the rest of the Caribbean, which they said that they plan to do, and find other sunken treasure throughout the Caribbean. Isn't that good? So we don't not only have oil, but we also have sunken treasure from these Spanish galleons. Yeah,
But
isn't that?
it's amazing how they've decided to split it even 50-50.
Well,
I'm
the
guessing,
government, awesome.
the government forced them to do that.
Yes, the government passed legislation a month ago stating that all treasure in the Bahamian waters should be split 50-50 with the Bahamian government and the treasure hunter. Beforehand, it was 70-30 for the treasure hunter because they made all kinds of claims that they had to invest all of this money into getting all the equipment here that the government didn't have time to invest or didn't have money to invest in. And so they made a huge case why they should be 70-30, but the government said, no, we want 50-50 now. And so that may change too. That may change to an even better, for favorable split for the Bahamian government and the treasure hunter, the explorers looking for the treasure. So yeah, so it's moving along quite nicely, I think. And I think there are more treasures. There's more treasure around the rest of the Caribbean that we don't know about. Because I can imagine, Kim, that during the 1600s and the 1700s, these waters were just trolling with not just Spanish galleons, but with Dutch galleons, with French treasure ships, with British treasure ships, that all didn't make it back to the old world. All didn't make it back to the old world. And then with the hurricanes and all the storms and the rocky reefs, there are bound to be other treasure ships around the Caribbean. So yes, let's hope that this master map that island exploration has created, let's hope that it could be something that could be a tool and a map that actually spread throughout the rest of the Caribbean. So maybe you may find some Spanish galleons in Trinidad, because I can imagine Trinidad was right close to the South America. So there may be, some even more treasure ships down there in Trinidad, Kim.
I believe it's not even that far off from the Bahamas, because I believe there isn't there Treasure Beach in Jamaica, and I believe
Yes.
they have to go exploring over there too.
Yes,
because
yeah.
it's going for it. And so I'm all for it in the sense that, they're splitting 50-50, but I see that they've invested quite a good bit in your tourism product, because
Yes.
they have the museums and stuff in what Walker's Key they call it.
Yeah, Walker's Key. Yeah, Walker's Key. Yeah.
Know that they have the museum, and they've helped, and his wife helps run that museum.
Yes. Lovely couple. Lovely
Yeah,
couple.
it's interesting in the sense that it's adding to the tourism product, and perhaps it will draw people with some bit of curiosity towards sunken treasures. There's a
Yes.
lot of dream. They actually have dreams of finding pirate's treasure.
Yeah.
And because of which his one has, you know, a reality in the sense that, you know, he was a child and he, you know, imagined something like this. And now he has the fortunes to
Mhm.
have developed all this technology and invested all of this to go dig in and hire, you know, people to look for these things. So
Yeah. It's a dream. It's a dream come true, man. I wish I could find treasure. You know, I often wander around when I wander around the Bahamas, when I go to family islands. I wonder if I could walk into a cave and find like a huge, you know, treasure chest full of gold and silver coins. I often dream about that, you know. Yeah, it could happen. It could happen.
in the sense that not every, you know, there's this old saying, you know, not everything that meets the eye, you know, everything that dazzles is gold. In
Yeah.
a sense, for the price that you'd pay and getting something like that or coming across something like that might be your life. People
Yes.
might put a value of that over your life and your well-being,
Yes.
and they're taken up with this. I mean, we all dream of, you know, hitting the riches and hitting the millions.
Yeah. 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 No, if I could even find whale poop on the beach, I'll be happy. Because you know, ambergris is essentially whale poop, and it's used for all kinds of perfume and all kinds of oils and stuff, right? So if I could find whale poop, I'll be over the moon, because you know, whale poop goes for thousands of dollars, man. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
ambergris. Yeah, ambergris. You heard about ambergris, right?
no, no, it's my first time. I'm sorry. I'm kind of daft when it comes to marine life and the ecology there. I saw something yesterday which was strange. Someone was promoting how a shark, the egg of a shark looks. You know,
Egg of a
when
shark.
it actually looks something like a torpedo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, I think is I know you all have sharks over there. You know, the new sharks are quite popular in the Bahamas.
Oh yeah,
So you might have a better idea as to how it really looks. I'm not sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We go through shark attacks every summertime, and the tourists just don't learn. You know, they come and they swim and they go up right up to the sharks, and my God, man,
Oh.
our sharks are full of tourists, of American tourists.
The thing is, I've always seen it as being it's been touted as being not dangerous. The new sharks, they seem to be docile. I
No,
don't know.
no,
You kind
the nurse sharks are cool. It's the other sharks you have to worry about. I can't remember the name of the other sharks. They are nurse sharks, sharks of the Bahamas. It's the nurse sharks. They're like the tiger sharks. The bull sharks are the ones that really attack. The bull sharks are the aggressive ones, because they're the ones that feed on the chum off of the islands. We have an island called Pearl Island off the coast of Nassau, and we have explorers there that chum the water, and they put fish bait in there because they're observing the sharks as well. So it's the bull sharks that are really more aggressive, because they've associated now that area with having food. And so anything in that water, you know, they're going to attack. And the poor tourists, they don't know any better. They're swimming with the shark. They think a bull shark is a nurse shark. So God bless them. And so every now and then we have a shark attack, you know, because they have the scientists there chumming the water, and people don't realize that. They don't tell the tourists that, you know, the scientists are right over on the other side of the island chumming the water, and they're observing the sharks. Oh my goodness.
I think once I see a fin like that in the water, I know I'm going to stay away. Whether it says it's a new shark or otherwise, a shark is a shark to me.
Mm,
That's like in my territory. A snake is, you know, not a good thing to me. I don't care what kind of snake it is. I'm going
right.
to stay.
Yeah.
We have poisonous snakes here in Trinidad. We have coral snakes and we've got the macape, but we also have the mackerel, which is like a boa constrictor.
Mhm.
And even might be harmless. They do kill creatures here in Trinidad, but
Yeah, bulls aren't poisonous though.
good snake is a dead. God forbid me is a dead.
Yeah, but
And
bulls aren't poisonous.
no, they're not.
Mm,
But we have the coral snakes and the mapape, which is
yes.
poisonous. So be very careful of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other snakes too. I think there's the there's a black one, a black mamba. They have it. It's popular here in Trinidad in the caves.
A
So
black snake.
so I don't go hiking. That's one thing I don't like, the idea of trekking through bushes.
You don't like the
And
bush.
so I don't like the bush. I
Mm,
mean, um in my yard we have the garden snakes.
mhm.
Last I think I mentioned we had a caiman in our yard. And that's closest to the wildlife I'm coming to. Don't like snakes. I'm going to stay away from anything that says shark infested waters.
Oh yeah, yeah. Please do, please do. The tourists don't learn though. The tourists don't learn at all. And every year we have a tourist that's half eaten or killed. And God bless them. God rest their souls, the ones who've been attacked have lost their lives. But yeah, they have to learn the lesson, man. And right in that same, they like to go off of Pearl Island. There's an island called Pearl Island. And the scientists have been there for years, observing the sharks and chumming the water. And it's really the bull shark and the nurse sharks are really sweetie pies, man. They'll swim right up to you, they'll nuzzle you and all, man. The nurse sharks are real sweetie pies, but the bull sharks, oh my goodness, they're aggressive.
What about the pigs? I know there's the beaches that are famous for the pigs.
Oh yeah, yeah, in Exuma. And they've been trying to export those pigs around the entire country, actually. And now every island now wants to have their own swimming pigs, but everyone knows the swimming pigs are from Exuma. The swimming pigs are originally from the island of Exuma. So anywhere you go in the Bahamas, they have swimming pigs. Just let them know that we know that the swimming pigs are from the Exuma. We want the real swimming pigs of the Bahamas, which are in the Exuma Islands. Yes.
So they are nowhere anywhere close to the sharks or exposed to the sharks. Because I'm just
No,
thinking,
absolutely not. Those pigs, they probably go as probably about no more than about what 15 feet from shore. They don't swim that far, and the sharks are coming that close and off the main beaches.
really, I've seen them close up to shore though.
Yeah. Not when people are there. When there's a lot of people there, the sharks really come up to like the main shoreline. It's only in those off keys where they have like the shoreline and the reefs are very, very steep. Well, one day you could be 1 second you could be walking very on flat land. Next thing you just dive straight off like a ditch. It's those off keys that the sharks really, they really can't get around. And as I said before, they have to be really chumming the water. There has to be a lot of fishermen out there or scientists literally chumming the water to make the sharks come there. Otherwise, not on a regular beach, you wouldn't see a shark. You may see a stingray pop up, but a really small stingray and a really, really small barracuda or a very small shark. Not a dangerous shark swimming all the way up to the shoreline in the Bahamas. You wouldn't see that.
Okay.
Those tourists are looking for that. Actually, they're looking for that excitement. And just recently too, we had a guy that jumped overboard of a cruise ship. This last week Tuesday. No, this Tuesday passed. Yeah, he jumped off the ship. They haven't found
him. They discontinued the search for him, not so.
Yeah, they stopped looking for him. Yeah, he's been having depression, and so he was going through a lot of stuff in his life. But he just jumped overboard and swam away, never came back. And actually, the guy who owns the ship, the pirate ship there, the Blackbeard's Revenge, he called me the first thing that next morning, said, Yuri, I don't know who else to call. I said, you called me? And so what about your lawyer? What about the police? So I don't know who else to call. I said, wow. I said, I feel trusted. I'm the most trusted man in the Bahamas, Kim. He called me. I felt honored though. And I talked him through it. I say, hey, okay, why don't you with your lawyer? He said he was in the lawyer's office right then. I said, why don't you and your lawyer and you told the police what's happened, that he's jumped overboard and there's nothing to do with you. Now, that's fine. There's nothing to do. Just an accident. And it's self-inflicted. It's death by misadventure. So otherwise, you're pretty safe. Yeah. Death by misadventure. If you can't find him, yeah. I doubt they're going to find him. He's gone. Poor guy.
Yeah. They've given up looking for him. So yeah.
I seen the video and he was actually talking back and forth to the people on the ship and he just decided to swim away. So,
he just wanted to give up on life, probably.
Yeah, I guess so. Because he couldn't swim that far. No matter how much a strong swimmer you are, and it was in the night too. Once you could swim for how long, but that's it, Kim. It's a wrap.
True that.
Yeah. Poor guy. Otherwise than that, man, that's what's been going on here. So the sunken treasure, ambergris, Kim, is whale poop, really.
Really? I've never really heard about it. I probably need to pay attention a little more to these things.
Yeah, and they make perfumes from it. It's in your perfume right now. If you have any kind of perfume, ambergris, they produce an oil from the ambergris, from the whale poop, and it actually goes into perfumes and other potions as well. So it's very expensive. A pound of ambergris, cost for a pound of ambergris should be a few $1,000s actually. Let me tell you how much it is. Cost for a pound of ambergris.
It seems like an ancient practice though.
Yeah, $10,000 for a pound of ambergris, Kim. So if you find a pound of ambergris, whale poop on the beaches in Trinidad, you could be rich, Kim.
have that many whale sightings here in Trinidad. You may see it, but it's down the islands. It's more in between like Tobago, higher up.
Mm, see, and something special is happening here in the Bahamas too, Kim. We're now seeing orcas far down the Atlantic, Kim.
I saw.
Orcas,
Yes.
yeah, orcas are from the north, the North Atlantic. So to see orcas all the way down here in the South Atlantic is absolutely strange. And I wonder if the scientists are really paying attention to that, because that shows you there's a shift in the climate, Kim. Orcas should not be this far down in the Caribbean. And we're seeing them off the coast of Eleuthera. We're seeing them off the coast of Exuma. So yeah, we're seeing orcas, those killer whales. They're not supposed to be down here this far.
I know that a lot of people actually said over the Memorial Weekend in Long Island they spotted whales.
Yes.
There. So there's been a lot of sightings along the northeast coast of America. So they're coming down to these shores. If we see them down here in Trinidad, we know we're in for some concern. It's a concern.
Yeah. That means they're chasing food, Kim. That means their food sources where they came from is depleted, so they're chasing food. So I guess we have to welcome the new apex predator to the seas out here, man. So they eat everything. Yeah, they eat everything, Kim. Yeah, they are the apex predator of the sea. They eat other sharks. They eat tiger sharks, great white sharks, whales. Yeah.
I'm soon.
Yeah, and they're very intelligent. They are very intelligent beings as well. I watched a lot of documentaries about them too, They're as intelligent as dolphins, or maybe even more so. And so they are killer whales for a reason. And they're in the Bahamian waters, so we have to be careful.
Wow, yeah.
But I bet you some tourists are going to want to come in, they're going to want to swim with them, right?
Yeah. I know a lot of people will do that.
Yeah, doing madness.
And you just hear the screams, a big giant coming out from the ocean.
Yes. But it should make for better tourism, whale sightings, tourists who want to go in for excursions.
It would give way to research as well, because you're seeing these patterns, you're going to want to study it and have a better understanding as to why this is happening.
Yeah, why they're migrating down this way. Exactly, Kim. Yeah. Exactly my point. But that's something we should be concerned about. That means the climate is changing. That means human beings are really changing the atmosphere so much that killer whales can't find food in their regular habitat, which is the North Atlantic. So they're down here, and that's a strange thing, Kim.
Yeah, it does.
But
talking a bit about what's happening in the sea and what's happening climate change wise, I saw that the United Nations had a South to South meeting this week, and that was part of it. They're talking a bit about collaborating in that way. It was the first of its kind under the United Nations. They're looking at ways in which more mechanisms could be put in place to help out understanding these agreements and what have you.
Okay.
So, I think ECLAC had it. I'm not sure where it was, if it was held in Argentina, I believe.
Yeah, Argentina hosts this, yeah.
So they had a resolution that came up, with looking at the South to South challenges and with Latin America and the Caribbean, for this agenda. They're looking at, ways in which they can, strengthen each other's support groups when it comes to mitigating humanitarian cooperation towards disasters and emergencies in the region. And I remember Mia Motley talking a bit about strengthening the South to South corporations.
Yes.
That kind of, we need that, because we can't always be relying on the North at all times. And it's about time that we look to each other side by side when it comes to, in the event something were to happen. The world is divided into two hemispheres. There's the Western Hemisphere and Eastern Hemisphere, but it's also divided north-south.
Yeah.
It's about time that we really were to band together and looking in ways in which, COVID would have emphasized these things.
Yes.
Going, we couldn't be dependent on the North all the time. And this would have affected a lot of countries and their GDP. It would have affected business relations and all sorts. And I think the first South to South initiative, it was established with Argentina being made the chair and Brazil, Chile, Cuba, Ecuador, Mexico, and Uruguay as vice chairs. I want to see more of the Caribbean in it. I know or CARICOM vice president, deputy, what's his name?
Armstrong.
Yes, Armstrong was there.
Mm-hmm.
Present at it, and it's good to see that we had a representation, at least a listening ear, you know.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on you know, going in this direction after so long?
I think it's about time, you know. First of all, I have to say I love the way you say Mia More Motley. You always give her middle name, Mia More Motley. I always say Mia Motley. We say Mia More Motley. You say it with such reverence and such respect.
You know her name, it just rings, it just rolls off the tongue.
Roll off
As
tongue, right? Yeah, yeah. But yeah, yeah, the South Corporation is needed, man. I mean, it's about time we start paying more attention to our needs down here, and only us can really solve our problems, you know, Kim. And that's really the truth about it, you know. And of course, Argentina has been at the forefront of leading the South Corporation. I remember several meetings that the Bahamas have actually participated with in Argentina with these South Corporation meetings. So yeah, it's about time.
So I think it comes ahead, this meeting comes ahead of something that they're having later on in July in
Hmm.
Brussels, which is the EU CELAC summit.
Hmm.
Uh, CELAC being, you know, the Latin American and Caribbean states community, and
Yes.
the Union. I mean, we have to go all the way to Brussels, something like this.
Yeah.
Attention for these regions. Latin America and the Caribbean is a big region in the
Yes.
southern
Yes. It needs to be developed. Yes. 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 Yes.
that's
And
always
actually,
utilized and underdeveloped. We've always had to depend on multilaterals like the IDB and IMF.
which are controlled by the United States.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And you know, it's to see we really have to pay attention to this development model that they're looking at, you know, trying to be something sustainable, inclusive, you know, but you know, adhering to universal social policies, they say.
Mhm.
It's a whole new way of looking at geopolitics, and
Yes.
I look forward to seeing how it's going. Some
Mhm.
of the areas that they look forward to for investment and cooperation includes when it comes to the energy transition. You know, that's been being paid on quite a good bit here.
Mhm.
Solar, wind, and green hydrogen
Yes.
taking priority.
Yeah.
The circular economy, which is interesting. I know you would have some thoughts on a circular economy,
Mhm.
pushing sustainable agriculture,
Yes.
industrialization, the pharmaceutical and life sciences industry,
Mhm.
medical devices industry, and advancement of enabled ICTs and manufacturing and things like that, water management, sustainable tourism, and e-governance. So
Mhm.
all of these areas, they want to see ECLAC has identified as priority when it comes to partnering with the EU. So we'll see how this takes precedence come next month.
Yeah, ACLAC has been producing a lot of documents, a lot of work in this regard, you know. ACLAC has been very busy. I get the reports on a daily basis, man. So they've been very, very engaged. They're trying to spur the Latin American innovation and really watching all the particulars from offshoring to agriculture. They're being watching everything in the region. So they've been doing a good job, you know, ACLAC. You call them CLAC?
No, we have them as ECLAC, and I think for
Yeah.
other parts, we have them as CELAC,
Yeah, I think the Spanish speaking countries call them CLAC,
and we
and
call it.
English speaking, we call them ECLAC. I say ECLAC.
We're used to the ECLAC, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They've been doing a lot of work in this regard as well, you know. Yeah, they've been very, very busy. One thing I always thought, there's this offshoring business in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always this outsourcing business, not offshoring, outsourcing business. I always thought that, yeah, I always thought that could springboard into greater ICT for the Caribbean, you know.
You mean we call that the BPOs, right? Not
Yeah,
so?
BPO is right. Because
Yeah,
Jamaica's been heavy in it.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
used
have a bit of that here in Trinidad. I see
to-
that happening across the region, actually. It's
mm,
been outsourced labor, you know,
yes.
telemarketing,
Yes.
particularly. We
Mm,
have a few here in Trinidad. It was pushed by our Invest TT organization.
yes.
supposed to help boost the economy with employment opportunities for at least the younger generation
Yes,
uh,
yes.
coming out of universities and things like that.
And actually, it's becoming a very huge chunk of Jamaican economy now. You know, they've been building a lot around that. They have a lot of jobs investing in this outsourcing. And so, but they haven't been really building the ICT around it. And so, well, of course, with outsourcing, you need, proper telecommunications, right? But I think that's the next step for the Caribbean, if we could all get involved in this outsourcing business, it could be a huge part of any economy. That's the next step because we could build off so many things around that. So we're talking about a better economy, a different economy post COVID-19. Let's embrace this outsourcing model that the Jamaicans have. And we could really build on it. We could actually refine it and make it better for all of us.
Nearshoring. Yeah, that's what they call it, nearshoring.
Nearshoring, right? Nearshoring, and outsourcing. Yep. And we can make a business. We can make a business out of that, because
Yeah.
especially with the citizenship by investment. Now, how I've seen even the Bahamas, even though we don't have a citizenship by investment regime, we've actually started to open up a regime where we can have these study programs here in the Bahamas, where people could come and they could actually work remotely. I think that's the next wave of the economy. People who want to work remotely and work from, let's say, their cabana in Tobago, and they could be making huge business deals from in New York from their iPhone. And this is the kind of things that we need to build on. And nearshoring can actually be the backbone of all of that.
Yeah.
Outsourcing can be the backbone of all of that. And so we need to take that serious. We need to jump on that and really take that to the next level. And all these international tech companies that are in Silicon Valley, let's ask them to build around that. Let's have a tech hub in the Caribbean, a real tech hub.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Technology is something that we really need to get on board when it comes to the Caribbean.
The information superhighway. There's no reason for us. We missed the industrial revolution because we just didn't have the capacity, right? But we should not miss the technological revolution that's happening right now, Kim. Every day technology is changing. Every day. I've been watching this guy, Brian Johnson. He was the owner of an IT company called Braintree, that they had a payment system that he sold the PayPal. They sold the PayPal for $800 million. And right now, what he's doing, he's developing software that can interface with the brain, Kim. He's developing software. Brian John, he's developing software that can interface with the brain. And he's trying to take a page from Elon Musk's book. But Elon Musk now, he has a brain chip. You heard about this brain chip Elon Musk has? He's not only going to space, but he's also creating a brain chip, Kim. It's not being approved by the FDA. It's being rejected by the FDA, right? But still, though, the thing that human beings are this far with technology is just amazing. So it goes beyond artificial intelligence. I mean, we're trying to create better human being intelligence, because that kind of technology could be a breakthrough for the world, man. If you could have someone that can implant a chip into someone's brain and could help them actually make moves on their own. Come on, that's path-breaking stuff. So the Caribbean needs to think along the lines of technology. That's the next frontier for us, and we should not miss this because we're right in the middle of this revolution. We're seeing it right now. We're using technology right now, Kim. We're talking to each other. You're in Trinidad, I'm in the Bahamas, and we're talking to people all over the world right now through this LimeVibe podcast. Then we should build on this. We should build on this, man. Let's not miss this. Let's not miss this opportunity, Kim.
Push of artificial intelligence taking center stage. I believe that there's a group called Tech Hub in Trinidad, and they've expanded throughout the Caribbean and catapulted in a way that reimagining how we do business, not just how we operate business in every form and fashion. And it's about time we really jump on these tech services and push it at the international market level.
Yes,
if we want to make ourselves attractive to business, especially we need to be able to keep up with the trends that are happening with ChatGPT and AI. We're still stuck with the whole digital financing thing and fintech in the Caribbean.
Yes. I'm having trouble right now, Kim, because with our Caribbean Magazine Plus, right? A lot of people just don't even have debit cards, Kim. They don't have debit cards. They want to send me cash. I don't want cash. They send me a debit card, man. Put your debit card information in there. You can't send me cash by what is MoneyGram or Western Union. Come on, man. Let's get serious here, man. Get a debit card. Get a bank account, man. My goodness. And so right now we're at a stage now in the Bahamas where have you heard about digital currency, the sand dollar?
I know y'all would want the pioneers in that.
Yeah, the pioneers. Yeah, we're finding like hell to get people acclimated and getting used to the sand dollar. It's the same money. I have my sand dollar app on my phone. I have my digital provider, my digital wallet provider, and it's just that a lot of stores don't even want to take it, man. Come on, let's get serious, man. It's the same money. You're just using your phone to really pay for it. So you're just putting money on your digital wallet and you're paying for it.
Exactly. It is money. It's just done digitally.
Exactly.
Central bank is a regulator. They've created.
Yes, it's a central bank backed currency. It's not a digital currency. It's actually a digital representation of the Bahamian dollar. That's all it is.
Exactly.
But sadly, my Todd man does not take digital currency. Yeah, the Todd man don't take digital currency. He only wants hard cash.
If you can't feel it, it's not real, right?
Yeah, I know, right? But they don't know that coming into the future, hard cash is going to be obsolete, Kim. You're not going to need it.
Yeah, I know that. And we've already headed that way. You've seen
Exactly.
got the Amazon stores where you just walk in and you just walk out, and
Exactly.
paid for.
Exactly, Kim. Exactly. And even right now, I don't know how the banks are in Trinidad, but we have these cashless banks now in Bahamas, where you have banks that don't actually give you cash, Kim. Insane. They don't give you cash. No, you could do like regular transactions like wire transfers and bank transfers, but you don't actually get cash when you go to these banks. These are cashless banks. You could bring your cash in there, but you can't actually withdraw cash out of it except from the ATM. So these are cashless banks, Kim.
Right now we're still trying to even get the legislation for digital e-currencies, up and running here in Trinidad. Getting people to even swipe. A lot of people are reluctant to using their cards, even just to swipe. A lot of people work with cash.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with my camera.
Oh yeah, no worries. Oh, you're back, Chris, kid. Yeah, don't worry. Technical difficulty. That's the devil trying to get to us, Kim. The devil, we're under attack. We're under demonic attack.
Say that.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, so people, they don't want to swipe their debit card, Kim. I know, right, Kim? It's the same thing here, man. Same thing here. It's just crazy, man. But I think that coming in the future, we're not going to have this hard cash anymore, and we're going to have a debit card. We're going to have our cell phones, where we actually have our digital currency on our cell phone. We're going to have that, Kim. And so moving forward, we have to just get used to it. I embrace the sand. I embrace digital currency. And I think that's the way of the future. Otherwise than that. But speaking of demonic attack, our last story that we want to talk about tonight, this Mahadia fire in Guyana. All right. Apparently, they have the teen suspect arrested, and she's been charged with 20 counts of murder for the murders of the 20 people that were in that Mahadia school blaze in Guyana. God rest their souls. And apparently, they said that she admitted to police that she was upset that she had her cell phone taken from her by the school mother, because she was quote unquote sexting, an adult male outside of the school.
It's really sad the way this has taken a turn.
Exactly.
And when you hear 20 souls lost,
yes,
you don't want to point to a young teenager going through something based on hormones or
yes, indeed.
You think about your actions. She's gonna have to live with that for the rest of her life.
She killed 20 people. But not just that, though. The other twist for this story, though, Kim, is that apparently a local pastor had visited that school hours before that blaze was set, and he had to go and pray for the school. And there was a video of him a week before the actual fire, where he was performing some sort of exorcism on the kids there. The kids were slain in the spirit, and it was under the demonic attack. I have the video there on Caribbean Magazine Plus. If you go to Caribbean Magazine Plus now, Mahadia Austin's story, you'll see the video right there on our story, where you see the kids slain off in the spirit, and this pastor conducting an exorcism. So apparently that school was under attack. It was under demonic attack.
So when the story first broke, and we would have heard President Ali talk about, warning the public as to being careful of what you're putting out there on social media. It was these things that he was kind of cautious with, because while it's true, while certain aspects of the story has been, we still have to take into consideration. I think this is where he was coming from, consideration that 19 families are mourning.
Yeah.
19 families have to live and carry on the rest of their days without a daughter. Without one family has to do without a pair of twins.
Yes.
And it's this kind of tragedy because it's not, yes, I believe about 15 of those who passed have been buried earlier this week. I saw funerals taking place in one of the regions on Tuesday, and then on yesterday, I believe there was 11. It was quite a scene to see that many white caskets lined up.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
it represents a good bit of families that are in mourning and are dealing
Yes.
with loss.
Dealing
We
with
still have to be considerate toward how they feel.
Yes, 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 indeed, indeed, indeed. But I just want to point out that, you know, apparently the devil was walking, Kim. The devil was walking.
And no doubt about it, when you see something to that extent,
Mhm.
that mass murder, mass death,
Yes,
you know, it's the spirit of death moving upon a land.
yes, yes,
We just have to say, you know, God be with them, peace be unto them.
yes. God bless those families.
We pray for peace, we pray for comfort, because it's gonna, grief continues not just today, tomorrow after burying your loved ones.
Mhm.
Grief continues years gone by.
Yes, they're not going to get their children back.
There's
They're
always
not
a
going
look
to get their children back.
no. You're always going to wonder what kind of daughter she would have grown up to be,
Mm.
the impact she would have had on my life, if she would have brought children, grandchildren, things
Yes,
like
yes,
that.
yes, yes,
The kind of woman she would have turned out to be career-wise,
yes.
what inroads and impact she would have made on her community otherwise.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And to have a life snuffed out just like that, like I say, the suspect who was apparently admitted to this, she's going to have to deal with this for the rest of her life. You know.
She is, sadly.
Yeah.
And she will need a lot of psychology, you know, when it comes to
Psychiatric evaluation and help. Yeah.
care and guidance, rehabilitation, perhaps, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
And it's going to take a toll. That's a heavy bit, you know, when it comes to forgiveness.
Yes, 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 yes. I don't know if I was a parent, I could actually find my heart to give up for that, you know.
I would have to forgive her.
Mm,
You know, that's our way of finding peace.
mm,
And that's all we can say. When it comes to tragedies like this, it's going to take a while. It's going to take healing.
mhm,
But I'm not sure it's to see how she continues living her life, if she has any bit of remorse. I
mm.
have not seen or heard any stories of her remorse or asking for any sympathy or
Oh,
I'm
no.
not sure. We have not
I haven't
heard from her side.
No, no. All we've heard is what the police have said, that she said that she was actually upset or that her cell phone was taken, which is really a really crude way to look at it, right? Because it probably goes beyond just a cell phone too. So
Spite, and it reeks of vindictiveness and spite and
yes,
a lot of bitterness.
yes, yes, yes. Anger. And that goes to a deeper thing too, as well, you know, because we have these young men, these I shouldn't say young men, these men that are preying on these young women. And so we have to find a better way to protect our young girls from these influences too, you know, Kim, because it goes beyond the iron bars and the iron gates in school, which really serve to be more of a death trap than actually was to keep the bad elements out, because we've seen that the elements were allowed to seep in. So we have to find a way to talk to our young girls and our men how we should have better, more healthier engagements with one another without thinking that it's going to be ending up in sex, you know, because that's really what the conversation should be. How do we, you know, because we can't keep our young men from men for the rest of their lives. We just can't keep them from men for the rest of their lives. We have to tell them how to go about having healthy relationships with a young man who you may have an affection for. You know, that's where
it's that culture. How is it, do we teach our young ladies to be careful of these predators?
Yes,
and
yeah.
of a certain age looking at you and, you know, wanting certain things.
Yeah.
We have that issue here in Trinidad. It's prevalent even more with social media.
Mhm.
Prevalent even more with, you know, technology, that you have all these apps, WhatsApp and Instagram and things like that. And now we have, you know, I shouldn't even call it, but yeah, you know, these paid apps where you know, women, you know, do these things just to earn some money.
Yeah.
So we have to be so careful and vigilant as to what we're allowing our children to access to on the device.
Something kind of controversial, Kim. I think there's a thin line between an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old man trying to court a 15, 16, 17-year-old girl and from a predator, a real predator who's just preying on 13, 14-year-old girls, and he's in his late 20s. That's all he's looking for. I think that we have to teach, a more healthy relationships, because I see nothing wrong with a man who's about 4 or 5 years older than a girl talking to her.
But still, I mean, I can see that there's similarities in the age groups. I mean, when you look at an 18-year-old young guy compared to a 15-year-old young girl,
Yes.
their development and brain maturity and everything is somewhat on par.
Exactly.
Right? So he's just going to give way to what's happening with a young teenager. The girl might have her head on her shoulders a little more, perhaps, than raging hormones from a teenage boy that is 17 and 18, compared to a 20-something-year-old young man preying on anyone that is below 18.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to have some level of sense and moral responsibility in dealing with that.
Yeah.
And understanding she's young.
Yeah, she's young. Yeah. So we have to teach our kids, we have to teach our young girls how to go about engaging in these relationships in a healthy manner, not locking them away and keeping them away from these situations, because after they leave the school, what's going to happen? They're going to meet men on the world anyway. So that we teach them how to engage in these relationships in a healthy manner. As we saw, putting bars and putting gates up only, serves to their detriment, and which is quite sad.
The thing is, when it came to putting up the bars, it was also safekeeping against, burglaries and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So it was not just all about safeguarding them from predators.
Yeah.
It was about burglaries. Most instances here in the Caribbean, when we have burglar proofing, it's up against, thieves.
The bad man.
People trying to come in to rob you of whatever belongings you have.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So yeah.
Let's continue to pray for families, Kim. It's just a tragic scene all around. But I was just shocked at what happened just hours before, the actual fire, shows you that, we have to be on guard from these demonic attacks on at all levels at every time. And apparently the school mother, she couldn't find the keys for a while. She was fumbling with the keys. So it was just a tragic scene all around, Kim. I'm seeing all of these things happening in my mind as we talk about the situation. I could see exactly what went through that woman's mind when she's trying to find the keys. And, all those girls who were just trapped in that building by, trying to get out from the bar. I could see it all in my mind play out right now, Kim. It must have been horrific, Kim. A horrific thing.
Yes, definitely. No one wants to see that. And I know that they had some trouble identifying some of the bodies.
Yes.
That was another. But we continue to have them in our prayers and in our thoughts.
Yes, indeed.
It's the entire community affected.
Yeah. Sorry to end LimeVibe on such a somber note, but that's how we got ended, Kim. So Kim, thank you for coming once again to LimeVibe. Sorry once again for not being here on Wednesday. We're going to be back again on Monday, God willing. And I just thank you for being with me, Kim. I really thank you for ushering me through all of these hot stories that are happening in the Caribbean. Because we are the forefront now, Kim. Dennis Francis is in charge now. Kamala Harris is in charge. We're at the forefront. Mia Motley is running the Caribbean. She's making an imprint on the rest of the world, Kim. We are right on time. This is our season, Kim. This is the Caribbean season. You are right here. An Indian girl from Trinidad and a Black Bahamian man from the Bahamas. Isn't that great? Isn't that a duo? What a spectacular duo. You would never see this anywhere else in the world, Kim. Never see this anywhere else in the world. Not anywhere else in the world would you see this. Yeah, you just stay with us, Kim. So, Kim, any final thoughts?
Just wishing you all a safe rainy season has started. Keep that in mind. Be prepared. Keep your supplies stocked and your emergency supplies close by. Yes,
indeed. So thank you once again, Kim, for that final note. I can't add anything else to that, but thank our viewers for tuning into us tonight with the LimeVibe Live podcast. And once again, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube videos and our Facebook videos. It really helps us out a lot. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube videos and our Facebook videos. And I thank all of our subscribers already. And I really appreciate you guys for tuning in to us again for another LimeVibe Live podcast. So tune in to us again on Monday night as we come back again with another lively and provocative topic here on the LimeVibe Live. Good night.
Good night.